Okay, we're in chapter 11a, 289, page 289. Number 3, histograms are used for continuous data. In a histogram, the columns of the histogram are joined up to indicate that the data is continuous, right? Column graph, the columns are separate. Does the book have a picture of this? Right. This is a histogram, right? It's because the data is continuous. What is it? Weights of lobsters. No, lengths of lobsters, right? The length can go right up to that 4. You know, it's not in the middle of that. I don't know if they have a picture of a column graph. That's histogram data as well. Well, there's one here, but there's no, so discrete, I mean, you can just see it here, right? So as you get higher up with statistics, this distinction is actually important because the mathematics that we do on this type of data is different to the mathematics that we do here. What happens with histograms is you can imagine some equation that gives you, like a polynomial type equation or similar, exponential or something, right? That gives you a curve that matches the histogram, and then you find area under the curve using calculus. Right? So that's where it would go in university, whereas discrete data is always dealt with in a discrete way. And the mathematics involves summations and things like that. So that's part of the reason for this. In year 9 and 10, you've probably been looking at discrete versus continuous, and you might have been wondering why it was important. But it's because of the mathematical analysis of more complex statistics. So it does actually become important mathematically eventually. You'll see that in year 12 more than year 11. But anyway, this one here, this is a column graph, number of matches. Heights of hockey players, that would be a histogram. Okay. What I wanted to do was number 4, and just show you how I could do this in my calculator. I'm just sort of picking this one at random, mostly because there aren't too many numbers to deal with. So we'll make our frequency table like it says, but I'm going to put it into the calculator. Now, the calculator can't graph it as a column graph. It will graph it as a histogram, which is a bit unfortunate because this is discrete data and should be graphed as a column graph, but anywho, that's fine. So I'll just get a pen that will write. I have to go to this screen for that. So my frequency table, I don't know if I can fit it in here. We would say we've got our X value, or I suppose we could just call it number of guests. Number of guests. Right. Whoa. And our options are 0 guests, 1 guest, 2, 3. Now, in year 12, what they would do, they would define capital X as a variable. They would say, let X be number of guests, right, in this hotel or whatever. And then you could label this here as xi. So you could say, well, my first possible value for x is a 0, my second value is a 1, my third value is a 2, etc. Right? But here I think we'll just give it a heading. I don't need that there. I just wanted to show you you know, how you would do it next year. Now, for something like this, I might want to have a tally as well as a frequency. I'm going to try and do it without the tally. But you can tally up your numbers, right? So I've got to count how many zeros do I get. What I could do is have a tally going. So I've got my zeros, and I could say, all right, I've got 1, 2, 3. So I'm recording them here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When I get to 5, I could put a line through it, so that indicates 5, and then I get 6, right? So the frequency, there were 6 rooms with 0 guests in them, right? I've got to count up all the ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I hate this part, so you always think you're going to miss one. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. A nice check you can do at the end is figure out your n from your frequencies, because they should agree. I can see I've got a 2, 4, 6. This is an 8 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There should be 40, right? There's 40 numbers here. My frequency should add up to 40. That's another way that I can check I haven't missed anything. I'm up to 2s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. A lot of 2 double guests in this hotel. Oh, I forgot 4. Oh, there's some 4s. It's not much of a family hotel, this, it looks like, but I won't make any comments about that. But there are a few 4s, so let's fix this up here. So my frequency table needs 4. I should be getting a total frequency. Right, the sum of each individual frequency should equal 40, because the n is 40. And hopefully you've seen the number n before, representing the total number of data points. We're up to the 3s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 3s. And what do we got? 1, 2, 2, 4. So if I add all this up, I get 7, 23, 34, 40. Yep, that means I counted them all up. So if I sum those frequencies, that's every data point. Now, what I wanted to show you is you can put this into your calculator to work out means, medians, etc. So hopefully when I go to calculator view, I can see that table, because I need the information from it. Let's erase this, don't need that. I need to be able to put this into a calculator. Oh, it's a bit hidden. I might have to go back and forward. So what you do is you press Stat, right? Then you're going to create some lists. So you're going to press Edit. All right, I've been doing stuff in here from, I don't know, at some point. I'm going to clear what I've got in the lists. The way to clear a list is to go up to the heading. Like here I've gone up so that I'm highlighting L2, and then I'm pressing clear, right? And enter. So it clears everything. Clear. Okay. We only had 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So these were our possible values. I want to call them X values. And then in list 2, I'm going to put the frequency. So I just need to remember those numbers. I'll go to a different screen. It was 6, 11, 16. 6, 11, 16, and then I think it was 5 and 2, yeah, 5 and only 2 rooms with 4 people in it. Now if I press stat again, stat, go over to calc, and I want 1 var stats, right? Now here I'm going to say list, that's L1, it's like all the values of how many people per room. Frequency list, I need to set that to list 2, right? So I'm going to go second function L2, it's down here, right? Then I'm going to press enter. It's going to tell me that the average was 1.65 people per room, right? The N is 40. They've worked out a standard deviation here, but we do that at the end of the chapter. You could do your box plot from this, because you get your 5-number summary here, looking at minimum, first quartile, median, third quartile, maximum. Unfortunately, the TIs don't give you mode. The Casios will tell you the mode. And this question asked for mode, but it's easy. I can see it in the table. So, yeah, right? You shouldn't be wasting time working out a mean. I mean, you should know how to work out the mean. If I want to work out this mean, I need to add up all the data and divide it by 40. Right? So the mean, this is a sample mean, so I'd write it like this, would be the sum of each individual value divided by the n, which means I've got to do 0 plus 0 plus 0, 6 of them, then I've got to add up 11 ones, 1 plus 1 plus 1, etc. And then divide all of that by 40. Or another way to do it would be, instead of doing 0 plus 0 plus 0, why don't we just do 6 times 0? There were 6 zeros, and then there were 11 ones. Yeah? And then there were 16 twos. So what we're doing there, and we have to divide all that by 40. You know, there's 5 3s and 2 4s. I can't be bothered writing that. Another way you can say that is sum up frequencies multiplied by the particular values. Okay? I'm not sure about this notation now. Here I mean add up every single data point, all 6 zeros, all 11 ones. Here I mean just do frequency times these particular x values. So this one, I must feel like that x to the I symbol's not right. I mean sum every result, or every single number. Right? Here I mean a shortcut way to summing up all the numbers is just to multiply the frequency by the number. Right? And then don't forget to divide by n, which is 40. Okay? So I could do that. It would be a little bit time consuming because I have to add up 40 numbers. What I'm saying is, as you go higher up in mathematics, you don't waste your time doing that, because you'll have technology that will do it for you very quickly. As soon as you've put the data in, calculator, oh, there's the average, 1.65. So we really want you to learn to use your calculator and save yourself time in this course. Now I could actually plot this. I've got plot on at the moment. I wonder what's happening. So if I go second stat plot, you can do this with me, please, and press enter. This data should be represented in a column graph. Now the calculator can't do that, but it can do something close. It can do a histogram. So I'll click on that. We'll say Mine's already set correctly. The X values that come from list 1, frequencies come from list 2. I just need to check it's not going to graph a line. Yeah, so see how when I've pressed Y equals, nothing is highlighted. So none of that will graph. Just my stat plot will graph. Maybe to help, I can try zoom stat. Where's zoom stat? Although I might be, yeah, it did a pretty good job, right? I think. Seems like, what happened to, that should be 6 zeros. I don't know, something's gone wrong. Let's go to the window. I need 0. Yeah, I don't know, let's make that a 5. Y minimum. I don't need any minimum. The maximum, I can't remember what the highest was 16, wasn't it? So let's set that to 18. Where's the X scale? It's doing it in 2/3. I need it in 1s. So zoom stat didn't really work for me, which is annoying. I'll try graph it now. Yeah, that's better. So what we're saying here, I'll just get a pen to finish this video off. So this is my zeros, my 1s, my 2s, my 3s, and my 4s, right? What we've got on the y-axis here is our frequencies. Okay, so this is saying there were 6 rooms in the hotel with 0 people in them. Right, this is number of people per room. There were, I can't even remember the number now, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There were 11 rooms with 1 person in. I think this was a 16 rooms with 2 people in them, etc. This was a 5 and a 2, wasn't it? So the last one, there were 2 rooms with 4 people in them. Okay, so you can graph. Now I might want to do a box plot. Maybe I'll show you that as well. I have to erase. Remember your 5-number summaries where you have minimum, quartile 1, median, which is the middle value, which I think was a 2 in this instance, the quartile 3 and the maximum value. You can put all that on a box plot. Your calculator will do those. They're over here, right? So if I click on that and I don't know, I'll just press graph and see what happens. Put it up there. Maybe I'll try zoom stat. Sometimes the calculator's smart, sometimes it's not. I don't really want it up that high. So, I maybe make that a 2 or something. Can it handle that? Yeah, well, I mean the Y scale is sort of irrelevant. But you could see here 0, 1, 2, and there's, why hasn't it got the median value on? I'll do what I did before and use, well, we've got X scale 1. Let's make this a 5. The minimum should be okay. Let's make it a 0. Try that. Is that because Q3 and the median are the same number? Possibly. I was expecting a line down the middle. Let's just check what the median is. I think the median was 2. What was Q3? Oh, okay, yeah, so that's a bit unusual. Normally you would have a box. Whoa, wowzers. So normally your box plot, here's a nice symmetrical looking one. You've got minimum, you've got your lower quartile and your upper quartile, and then you've got your median in the middle of that box, and then up here you've got your maximum. This is the 5-number summary. Your calculator can find these numbers for you, right, as I just showed with this data. The data that we've used, a bit unusual because the median and the third quartile have ended up being the same number, right? But that's not going to be the case most of the time. It's just because we're dealing with, we're only dealing with whole numbers between 0 and 4, so that's the reason it's turned out that way. And there were so many 2s. All right, so the middle number was a 2, and also by the time we got 75% of the way through the data, it was still on 2. Right. Okay, I'll leave it there. Hopefully you learnt something about calculator use. And we also covered column graph versus histogram.